everyone. My name is Vivian Moyo. Actually, my name means lively heart. So Vivian means lively. It's a French name, and then Moyo means heart. So that actually describes my personality. I've got a lively heart.
Hello and welcome to Obehi Podcast. I'm your host, Obehi A14, and I strongly believe that everyone has a story to share. Now let's get started with this episode.
Yeah, I'm a Christian. I've been born again for quite a long time. And obviously that comes with its challenges as well. And I've gone through a lot in my life. I've gone through pain, I've gone through rejection from my own family, rejection from my own father. It just continues. But then not realizing that God had a purpose for that pain is now my purpose, and with everything that I've been through has allowed me to now help other women that are going through domestic abuse, that are going through sexual abuse, that are going through mental health, and women that have gone through childhood trauma. And because I can relate with everything that these women have gone through, it's amazing to support them based on my experience and based on obviously God, but also based on the other people that are supporting the project as well. It's called Safe Haven Women's Organization.
Now let's try to know you a little bit better. So where were you born and where did you grow up, especially in your teenage years?
I was born in Zimbabwe. I know a lot of people, when they see me, they're like, no, they don't believe it. They say all sorts. They think something come Malaysian, something come Chinese, believe it or not. I guess it's the eyes. But I was born in Zimbabwe. I was raised in Zimbabwe, and I came here at the age of 11 years old, and I've never looked back. And I am 37 now. I know I don't look it again, probably don't sound it. When I tell people my age again, they're like, no way. I'm like, yeah, I'm 37. You look shocked as well, but I am 37.
That's great. Everything is part of the story. Everything is part of you. Do you want to tell me some of this pain that you made mention of when you're talking about yourself just now? Can you share more about that with us? We are trying to look for a way to connect more so that the people we are talking with can have a direct connection with us.
No, that's absolutely fine. So I went through a lot of pain growing up. I know you might not see it behind the makeup and the hair, but this is somebody that has gone through a lot of pain, rejection, and just so much rejection from my father from a very young. From when I was in my mum's womb, my father just decided that he didn't want anything to do with me whatsoever. Didn't even want to meet me or nothing. And you can imagine growing up as a young child, particularly a young girl, with no love from your father, and you don't know what your father is. It can leave something. It can leave a broken part of you. And then also for me, my mom died as well when I was 3 years old. So it's like I grew up from another rejection to another pain, losing my mother at 3 years old, and not knowing my parents growing up was a struggle. But for me, I had my grandmother who really loved me and who brought me up as her own daughter. And then at the age of 11, my uncle, who lives in the UK, decided that he was going to bring me here and adopted me and made me part of the family. But sometimes when you are coming from a different family, you're always going to feel like left out. I always felt like unloved. I always felt rejected. Not to say that my uncle didn't love me, not to say that he didn't care for me, but I guess because there was something in me that had already died, and I already felt like I wasn't worth it because I guess my father rejected me. So anyone that would try and show me any love, it never really meant anything because I wasn't getting what I was needing. And so bless my uncle, he tried everything to sort of be there for me as much as he can and support me, but I still felt rejected. I still felt unloved. I still felt like I didn't belong. And so therefore, by the age of 17, I decided I was going to leave, and I left. And At that time, I thought, yes, my life was going to be amazing. I'm going to make my own rules. I'm going to find happiness again. And so left home at 17. And then I don't know, I don't know if people can relate with this, particularly, as a young lady growing up with no father, you end up finding loving men, like the men that you want, the men that you think you want them to be a father figure, and you end up rebelling and meeting the wrong guys. And that's what I did. I met the wrong guys. I stayed in relationships that were not healthy. And then I think by the time I was 18, I got pregnant. And I felt to myself, okay, this is something nice. I can sort of I look forward to. I can have my own family. This is a young girl coming to England, already had been rejected by her father, already losing her mum at the young age of 3, coming into London and already feeling rejected and feeling unloved. And then now leaving home and feeling like you don't have no one at all. And so for me, my pregnancy at that time felt like, okay, maybe this is a chance for me to make my own family, have my own kids and stuff like that. Like it felt like, okay, something that I can finally call my own. And then by the time I left, by the time the baby was 5 months old in pregnancy, I had a miscarriage. And that was like, whoa, okay. No, that's fine. I took a moment to reflect on it. I was like, can I lose anything else? I've lost my mum at 3. My dad rejected me, doesn't want to know me. I've come to a country with my uncle feeling unloved. Not that there's anything particularly that he did wrong, but there was this gap that was missing. And then, getting pregnant and knowing exactly what I was having, buying the clothes, feeling excited, and for all of that to just come crashing down and having the miscarriage, that really broke me. I felt useless. I felt like, what was the point of leaving? I felt like I was unlovable. And then at that point, I remember it got worse because my partner then decided that he was going to leave me that same day, the day I actually had a miscarriage, come from the hospital, decided he was going to go and be with somebody else, and literally just left me like that. And you could imagine how devastated I felt. I felt really heartbroken, and to the point where I was not giving up on this idea of having another child, because I felt like having another child was the only way I could find happiness. And so I continued the search, and again, by the time I was 19 again, I fell pregnant. Was it 20 or 21? I can't even remember. I felt pregnant, and again, same thing happened. Like 5 months, baby dies, stops breathing. And at this time, I think I was about 25 years old now, having lost 2 kids at 5 months old. And it was the same issue. They just stopped breathing and they just stopped growing, and the doctors said that there was nothing really wrong with me. I shouldn't really worry or anything like that. But at that point for me, I think I just gave up completely. I was just like, Lord, I cannot do this anymore. Like, clearly I'm not good enough. Clearly I'm a mistake. Clearly I'm not worth anything, because everything that comes in my life, particularly people, they just died. Like my mom just died. And I think I blame my mom for dying at that time, because I felt like she never fought enough to live. I felt like she just gave up. And so even again with the 2 pregnancies, I just felt like, what's wrong with me? Like I can't even keep pregnancies, like to the point where I was almost suicidal. Like I was actually suicidal. I remember like staying in my hostel room feeling like, only if I can take that bleach, maybe I can die, and all this pain and this emptiness and this brokenness I'm feeling would just disappear. But God had a purpose for me. Despite everything that I've been through, God never God knew why I went through what I went through, but at that time, I didn't know why. At that time, I think I almost blamed God for everything, because I'm just like, Lord, if you're with me, why are you allowing rejection upon rejection? What have I done? I'm a good person. I've got a good heart. I'm a loving person. Why me? Not realizing that I had to go through that in order to turn that pain into purpose. And yeah, so I went through that. I remember my friends, luckily for me, I had good friends in the hostel. They encouraged me. They were Christians. They were like, it's not the end, like just have faith. And I guess for me, I decided that I was going to take God more serious, because I felt like I had nothing else to live for. But somehow God was still giving me the hope to live. I didn't know why, but there was this little hope in me that maybe if I just hold on to God, things would just become better and easier. And then I started going to church a lot more, started receiving the word a lot more, started experiencing the presence of God, started hearing about faith, and started hearing about replacing your negative thoughts into positive, the word of faith and hope, and I somehow started to feel alive again. I started to feel like, okay, maybe there's a reason. I didn't know what it was, and also I've always had this passion of just being a businesswoman. From a very young age, I've always wanted to do something. I've always known there was something in me, but I never knew what it was. I remember starting a women's magazine called Flawless back then, and it was again about helping women, helping them to find themselves, like writing true stories, and then I remember opening another, changing the name to She Inspires. And then I remember working with the young women doing the You Are Beautiful project. That the aim for that was to help young women find confidence in themselves and to kind of raise awareness of like the images that we see in the media, that they're not really real, and just making sure that these young women love themselves. I did that in schools for a while. But when you're called, you will do something, but you know that this is not it. You will know that there's more. So I kept doing all these things, and I just knew that that wasn't it. There was something. And just as when I felt like, okay, I'm getting my life on track, things are getting better, I'll get another blow, and I'll get knocked down, and I'll find myself going back into circles for years. I just finding myself going through trauma, through obstacles, like like when you're in a when you're in a ring and you're fighting, you're boxing, like you box somebody, and then you fall down, and then you get up, and then you fall down again. And that's how my life felt for a very long time. It felt like I was in a boxing ring. Every time I'm like, yes, I'm winning, and then I get another blow, I'm just on the floor again. And then to the point where there were times where I just gave up. Like I was just like, I just can't take this anymore. But I realize now that I had to go through those experiences to make me stronger. My strength came from the things that I lost, and also my faith in God came from not really depending a lot more on men, but just trusting God. And then recently, I went through a fight with God in a way where I was just like, Lord, like this was 2 years ago. I was like, Lord, I'm getting older, no man, no guy. What is this? I rebelled, and then instead of waiting on God, I decided I was going to help God. I decided I was going to just go and just find my own guy and stuff. And when I did that, I entered another domestic abuse relationship where it was a coercive control. It was really bad. I just came out from it this year actually, and I was just like, Lord, can it get any worse? But in that time, I realized I can't really blame God at that point, because that was a decision that I made for myself. I was impatient rather than being patient and waiting on God. But I realized I had to go through all of that in order to be ready for the assignment that God had given me, which was what I'm doing now, Safe Haven Women's Organization.
Thank you so much for that. That is really deep. That is deep. I want to thank you for being here, in that you're here to help other people also to learn. When all these things was happening to you, did you have, I don't know, friends? Or, okay, I understand that your father is not there, your mother is not there. That is really hard for a child to grow up like that. I can understand that. I lost my father. I was in primary 2, but my mother was there. My eldest brothers were there. My sister, they were there. So the pain is not as hard as those who do not have people to rely on. So just a little bit, I understand, but I can see that this is really a kind of a difficult situation for you. But I like also your courage. Your courage is very, very important, in that you decide that you are going to keep on fighting. That is very important. And that you are going to transform that pain into a purpose, to know what is your purpose here. That is very important for me. So what is that purpose that you find that you are going to be pursuing?
So my purpose is so funny because this year, like, God was like, your purpose is going to be helping women that have gone through childhood trauma such as sexual abuse, such as domestic violence, such as mental health, and you are going to lead them, and you are going to give them the healing and the recovery that they need. And at one point I questioned God. I said, Lord, me, like, are you sure? Are you sure you're calling me for this? Because I'm not experienced. I haven't done any sort of counseling whatsoever. I think you're mistaken. But like, it almost felt like I had no choice. It was time, because of everything that I've been through and the healing that I needed to go through myself. God felt like it was time for me to open this Safe Haven organization. And you know, this saying is, when you are now finally in line with your destiny, doors open. Like, God has already provided this provision. And so when I was telling people that I wanted to do Safe Haven Women's Organization, the support was amazing. And then at first I was thinking, okay, how are these women going to come about? And so the idea is to work with other charities that work with women that have gone through these things. And so what Safe Haven is, we're like the next stage for what these charities are doing for these women. So we can then support the women to fully recover by allowing them to be in a group of women where they can build relationships, build connection, but also where they can be able to share their stories, exactly what I'm doing now with you, where they can share their stories, but also give them the opportunity to share their stories in different ways. They might not want to share their stories through just speaking. They might say, okay, I want to share my story through dancing. That's absolutely fine. We don't want to limit women on how they can actually share their story. Because I believe when you now share your story, you're saying, I'm no longer a victim of my past. I'm no longer a victim of what I've been through. Like, I recognize the pain. I recognize what I've been through. But when you also recognize, you're also helping somebody else out there realize that what they're going through too is not as bad as they think they are, unless they begin to hear these amazing stories. But also we're gonna, we're gonna help women share their stories through dance, through singing, through drama, and through poetry. And that's gonna again give them a skill and give them a chance to learn a skill, a creative skill that they've never really thought of having before. But also it's about being there for each other, encouraging each other, sharing our stories together in an open place, but in a safe space. So I want a Safe Haven to be a safe space for women to come and be themselves without feeling judged, without feeling like they cannot be themselves. And because obviously going through what I've been through, what helped me was a safe space. And that safe space for me was church. That's where I could go and cry to God and praise and do what I needed to do in order for me to fully receive my healing. And I wanted to create something similar for women where they can come and feel like they can be themselves without feeling judged, without looking like they're weird, or without looking like without them feeling ashamed. And that's exactly what Safe Haven Women Organization is doing. And then also we're giving these women a chance to better their lives. Going through trauma is not an easy thing, and sometimes you might forget your dreams. You might forget what it is that you really want to do for yourself. And so with Safe Haven, we've got partners in place that can actually help these women to get back into employment. So you might want to go and you might want to start work, but you might not know how to do that. So we've got partners that can help with your CV, that can help giving you interview tips, that can guide you and help you into finding the right job for you. But also you might decide, actually, maybe because I'm a mother and stuff, I don't really want to go back to work, but I want to have my own business. We have that in the center as well, where we've got partners that are fully qualified that can actually help these women get their business plan, do everything that they need to do to become the women that they've always been. Because I believe that if I, Vivian Moyo, I've been through what I've been through, but I'm standing here, I'm working, I've got Safe Haven Women. If I can surely still fulfill my dreams with the pain and the trauma that I went through, I want to tell somebody that's listening today that you can also become somebody. Like, your story is your purpose. Your story could be something that can help many other people to come away from what they're going through. And you might feel like you're not strong enough, but trust me, the fact that you're still here today, it means that you're strong. And I just want to encourage anyone that is going through pain, that is going through trauma, that it's not the end. This is just the beginning. Your life can only become better. Just don't give up. Don't give up, because your life, you don't understand the plans that God has for you. Like, just hold on, just have faith and believe and trust that what you're going through now is only temporary. Like, I literally just summarized my story because there's just been so much, but we'll be here forever. And look at what God has done. And if God can help me too, He can also help you too.
Absolutely important. The moment that we live in today is particularly challenging. It's enough to think of, maybe, for example, the COVID-19 situation where a lot of people were locked down. It's not easy. It's not an easy moment, no? So to have somebody tell you that it will be okay, to have somebody tell you that, hey, it is not the end of it, like you just said, that is very empowering for people. That is truly empowering. Now, help me understand it, Vivian. Who actually come to your organization? What kind of people come to you?
So it's amazing because, like, that's how I know this is definitely not me, but it's God. The women that come to me are women that have gone through what I've gone through, women that have gone through pain, women that have women that are grieving, women that have lost children, women that it's just different types of women that have been sexually abused, women that have gone through a lot of trauma. And every single week, because the center is open every Saturday from 2 to 4. So when I started, I remember I did the launch on the 13th of June, on the 11th of June, and God was like, just start. And I didn't have anyone. God was just like, just start. But from the time we started, women have just been coming. I've just been meeting. God have just lined up all these women. And one thing that they say is that they feel safe. They feel like they're in a safe space, because that's exactly what I wanted for these women. And sometimes, like this, the Saturday that just left, women were sharing their stories. I had to hold back the tears because the stories, they're very deep. women, we've got this woman that has lost her child 2 years ago at age 23. She's still dealing with that loss. And then, another woman that has been sexually abused by, a family member, and having gone through, like, sometimes you look at people, but you don't realize the pain that they're going through. So for me to be able to sit there and be there for these women and help these women, I'm like, okay, Lord, now I know why I now had to go through what I went through, because women can relate to me and women can trust that I can give them the best advice that I can, because I've been there. And so in a way, I thank God for allowing me to go through that, because I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing, and I love doing what I'm doing, and because it's not everybody is there for people, and to be there for people is amazing. I remember last week I was sick, but I was still there for these women, because they need that space. They need a home where they belong, where they can feel like they can be, and that's what Safe Haven Women is all about.
You see, thank you. I thank you again for the sharing. When you look at people just walking by, you don't know what is going on in their life, what is going on in their mind. I think one writer or one speaker did put it like, we're all fighting our battle, all of us. So it is wrong sometimes that we don't look at somebody and begin to judge. We need to take the time to listen to these people, to understand what is going on. Because all of us, we are in a mask. The importance of listening to our story. But if you want to call it storytelling in the work you do, tell me, how important is it?
It's very important, because you don't realize that your story is what somebody has been waiting for. Sometimes people might feel like giving up, but then the moment they hear your story, they feel like, this is what I needed. So I just want to encourage people that have stories to share, that don't hold your story, because your story is no longer your own story, but your story is to help somebody else who needs that encouragement, that needs the strength that you have. Because I've learned in life, not a lot of people have the resilience and the strength that you might have. So your story is what is needed. Your story is what is. Look at Oprah Winfrey. Like, she would have never made it without her story. Like, I admire her so much, but she became who she was because of her story. Her pain too became made her the celebrity that she is. Like, so many people, Steve Jobs as well, like, his story is the reason why we buy the iPhones. Like, every great person has a story, and if you've got a story, I want to remind you that you are a great person, but also to encourage you that somebody's healing is through your story.
All right. Now, at a point, after several things that have happened to you, you decided you were going to transform your pain into a purpose. That is not something that happens every day. Tell me how those come to you, how the message come to you that this was going to be your transformation. This was going to be a way for you to serve.
I remember, like, randomly, like, I used to, like, I got this amazing friend, and she used to be like, Jasmine, she used to be like, Vivian, you've got an amazing story. Like, you need to share your story, because it took a while before I was able to share my story. She's like, no, Vivian, your story is amazing. She challenged me. And then the moment she challenged me, and then the moment I began to speak, I realized the power that was there. And so I decided that I was going to do a campaign called hashtag share your story campaign. Like, I'm not a victim. I'm not a victim. Share your story campaign. And then through that, women were coming, exactly what you're doing. Through that, women were coming and they were sharing their stories. I was doing it on Instagram. This was just something I was doing along the side. It wasn't, I didn't even think what I was doing was exactly what God had called me. So because I started doing that, then it pushed me into now opening a proper platform, which was the Safe Haven Women. So it took me a while to get to the point where I can share my story and help other women. And hearing these stories from these women that I work with is mind blowing. And to know that they've got a place that they can call home every Saturday and look forward to coming, it just to me, that is, for me, it nothing happens in life for me now. I feel like I can say I'm content knowing that I'm now living my purpose and helping people. And for me, this is more than enough, because what I'm creating is a legacy where I want people to learn from and people to continue, because you'll think that there's services out there, but there's not a lot of services out there that help people share their stories. And that's what Saving is all about, helping people to share their stories, to realize that they're a survivor and they're not a victim.
All right. Now, in this center, for people who do not know, who have never been there, can you be more specific? What do you do? How do you engage with these individuals, these women who come to you?
So we do, like, for example, last Saturday we had a group session. So we do all types of stuff. So we do knitting as part of our bonding sessions with the ladies, which is amazing. We do knitting while we're talking and sharing our stories, but also we do other stuff, like we had a guest come and join us, one of the partners, and she took the ladies through creative writing, where they can write a love letter to themselves. And there's just so many things that we do in the center. And then we continue to share our stories. And then in the end, because obviously these stories that women share are quite heavy, so we do karaoke in the end to just lighten up the mood, just have fun and just sing. And there's prizes to be won to motivate the women to sing. Each week is different, and we have experts that come who are counselors as well, who come now and then to the center to speak to the women and stuff like that. So we do quite a lot of activities, but the main thing is the healing recovery. So we do like writing, we do knitting, we do book clubs, where we pick a particular book that we want to read and that we can, discuss. And it's all about teamwork. That's what we're sort of trying to build with the women, where they can find their confidence and find themselves through doing all these activities.
Healing, that is what you use there. That is the term you use there. How do you, from the time the people come to you and the time they eventually go out, how do you measure the activity that you do in terms of the response that the people get from you? Okay, let me put it this way. I try to understand how the impact of your work in the women that are coming to meet you.
The impact speaks for itself, because the women in the center are now bringing other women to the center. So I don't even need to look for these women. Women in the center are saying, do you know what? I love what you guys are doing. I love the support. And so what they're doing is every day they're bringing somebody that they feel like the center will be helpful to them, because they're seeing the impact. And what I like to do with my ladies, I like to be there for them all the time. Like, there's no issue that you can come with and we cannot support or even try to refer. So I've got another young lady who's going through a court case in regarding to her child, and I've been there I've been with her from day one, trying to help her, getting a solicitor, family, and trying to support her. And because I've been there from the beginning, they see that it's about having the heart for these women, and the heart speaks a lot more than anything. They see that they're being listened to, they're being given the attention that they need. And you have women that come and they don't even have food to eat. The other day I helped one of these ladies out of my own pocket. I was able to provide financially for these women because it's something that I'm passionate about. So it's doing the little things for these women that maybe somebody might not take the time to do so, to be able to help them. And because we do these things in the center, the women are just coming. Like it's our 4th week now of doing this, the Safe Haven every Saturday, and the center has always had people. Like there's never been a day where there isn't anyone in the center, and people are bringing in more people, and it can only get better. And we welcome everybody. We don't judge or we don't discriminate or anything like that. It's just a safe space where we want you to just come and feel at home.
And in terms of maybe requalification of the skill that some of these women have so that they can be more useful to themselves, maybe this can be in terms of artistic business, so that they can be able to create something for themselves. Can you share anything with me in that line?
Yes, so what we do, as I said previously, what we do with these women, we want them to really get back into life and help them to really get back into their purpose and what they love. So what with Safe Haven Women has done is we've partnered with other professional people to sort of come and help these women do drama as part of an activity by them sharing their story. We've got partners that come to the center that do poetry, and to help these women as part of their skill that they can learn. We have like partners, like I said previously, that help these women write their CVs, help them with interview tips, help them to basically get the right job. And we have partners that help these women to do business planning, to do like cash flow, like marketing plan, whatever these women need, we've got it. And we've got like professional counselors in the center as well who are qualified. So what we've done is I realized I can't be all these people. So what I've done is, although I'm the founder, what I've done is I've partnered with these people who are qualified, who can help these women on the behalf of Safe Haven Women. And we're still looking for more partners. So if you want to be a partner and you want to help us, you could either be a counselor, a psychology, you could be a coach, or anything that you feel like you can contribute. It is you're more than welcome to.
You did say before, by the time you begin to channel your champion, your story, you move from being a victim to be the one who is sort of governing your story now. Because of course, that is what you do. No, you don't see yourself just as a victim, but able to also help other people. Which means you gain power from what has happened to you. You become mature. You become someone that somebody can also run to for help, because some things have happened to you. Whereas some other persons might remain in this victim mode, in this situation where you continue to remain in a loop and complain of the things that happens to you. And of course, you never move beyond that because you always see them turning around you and you are just like moving around in a circle. So I want you to tell me, because you have passed through this difficult moment, what do you suggest to people who are in this sort of this victim mode? They are not able to move beyond it. What would you share with them to help them move above it?
I want to encourage you that you're not a victim. Like, you're not a victim and you're not alone. And it's not your fault what you've been through, what you're going through. It's not your fault. So stop blaming yourself. Stop feeling like you are the victim or you are the reason why you're going through what you're going through. No, you're not a victim at all. There's a greater plan and there's a greater purpose for why you're going through what you're going through. In my understanding, I believe you are in an assignment for a greater purpose. God has called you to be the one and has chosen you to be the one to go through what you're going through. I know right now you might think, oh, this woman, what is she talking about? Believe me, when I say, like, based on what I've been through, I didn't understand and I didn't know why I was going through what I was going through. But God was preparing me and God was molding me, and God was molding me to be this strong woman that I am today. And in order for me to gain the strength, I needed to go through what I needed to go through. And also, maybe nobody has told you this, but I want to encourage you and let you know that you are somebody great. You have been chosen. You are somebody great. Like you're literally somebody that's gonna go places. You're somebody that's gonna make a difference in this world, whether you like it or not. You're already chosen, and that's why you're going through what you're going through. And I want to encourage you: do not give up, because there is something great coming your way. Just keep on, keep pressing, and one day you will sit down with yourself and you'll be amazed and realize why you went through what you went through. And like I explained before, Oprah Winfrey is a good example of somebody who went through pain after pain. But look at her now. She's a celebrity, and it's because of her story. So your story has meaning. What you're going through has meaning. But what I want you to do, not to give up, because there's somebody else out there that needs you. You might not know it, but there is somebody out there. More than one person out there is waiting for you, whether you are Chantel, whether you're Sandra, whether you're Amanda. There's another person out there that needs the strength that you think you don't have, because you have the strength, because you are chosen and you are amazing. So never forget that.
All right. Thank you for that advice. Now, for somebody to be able to connect with you, to know where you are, where you operate, how can they do that? I mean, use these few seconds to promote yourself. Go ahead.
Yeah, so you can find us on Instagram. I'm literally looking at my Instagram account right now. I've got so many Instagrams. So you can find us on Safe Haven Women org. So it's safe-haven-women-org. Safe-haven-women-org. And also you can find us on LinkedIn, and it's my full name, which is Vivian Moyo. And also we are open every Saturday at I'm just trying to find the address, so you can come and visit us whenever. So we are open every Saturday for the recovery healing workshop programs at Hatman House, which is 365 Queens Road, London, SE145HD. So Hatman House, 367 Queens Road, London, SE145HD. And then also you can connect and get in touch with us on our mobile number, which is 073-6191-6721. I will say the number again, 073-6191-6721. And the email address is safehavenwomen's with an S at gmail.com. So safehavenwomen@gmail.com. And our website is www.safehavenwomen.org. www.safehavenwomen.org. And you are welcome to join us. You can either, if you live far, don't worry about it. You can join us online, but you can also come and meet us face to face.
Thank you for that. Right now, for some women who do not know what to do, who are somewhere maybe in a situation who need help, because all of us, we do need help. No, we just need to open up to it, that no one can do it all alone. We all need one another. So to those women who maybe have not found what they are looking for, and maybe in a situation that is particularly challenging, maybe like the one that you have gone through, I want you to show them how they can come out of that. Please go ahead and do that.
For me, in all honesty, what really helped me was God. God was the only person that could give me the unconditional love that I needed. God was the only person that was going to heal me from the trauma and everything that I needed to go through. So I needed to give my whole to God in order to recognize why I'd gone through what I'd gone through. Without God, to be honest, I don't think I would have been here. Like God and church, honestly, that's what has really, really pulled me through. Because remember, I'm coming from a broken place. You might be feeling rejected, feeling unloved, feeling like no one understands you. You might be going through like abuse, domestic violence, and all this stuff. What you read right now more than anything, it is God, not men, because we depend on men who are hurting themselves. We rely on men who can't really give us what we really need. And for me, I came to realize that men cannot give me the unconditional love that I needed and the peace that I needed. And having God in my life has given me the peace. I'm not saying it's all easy. I've gone through many trials, but because of God, that's how I'm still here. God has kept me. God has kept me and has given me the strength and the grace that I need to become the woman that I am today. So I'll say, put your faith in God, because He's the one that created you. He's the one that brought you into this world, and He has the final say about your life. And He is the only one that can help you, but no one else. And He's the one that can heal you physically. You might be going through sickness. You might be going through cancer. You might be going through all sorts. Believe me when I say we serve a miracle working and a faithful and a merciful and a loving God that will never judge you, but would always love you unconditionally, because that's what God is. God is love.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Now, what will be your final statement here to conclude the conversation? Go ahead and do that.
I'll say, Queen, if you're listening to this, you are stronger than you think you are. Even to the king listening to this, you are stronger than you think you are. And I'll say, do not give up on your crown that easily, because there's a crown on your head and you need to be resilient and you need to fight until you meet your destiny. So do not give up, because you are stronger, wiser than you think you are. And don't give up on your crown that easily. That's all I can say for now.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I really do. If you enjoy this podcast, make sure you subscribe so you never miss any of our future episodes. Rate and review Obehi Podcast and share with your friends who might need it. I remain Obehi Ewafo. Thank you so much for listening, and talk to you in the next episode.